a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes.
And yes, we're blessed and highly favored here, the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Realty. We've got attorney Anthony Rickman in studio with us. We're going to talk about local and national stories, as well as Ritchie Mold Solutions and Representative Berny Jacques joining us later on in the program. State Representative Berny Jacques as well on the Consumer Quarterback Show. A couple of hot listings, and we're going to jump into this content here. 221 Howard Drive. We got a $3.4 million listing. Beautiful beaches of Pinellas County, 221 Howard Drive. This one is 5 bedrooms, 3 bath, 3,500 square foot, single family home on the beach. Beautiful property, exclusive Bel Air beach location, one of the hottest zip codes in all of Tampa Bay and the state for that matter. Gorgeous 3-island kitchen with Thermador appliances, saltwater pool. You have 100 feet of linear water frontage on deep water. You have historic Howard Drive that boasts one of the highest land elevations in the area, and you're only 1 block from the beach access and Sugar Sand Beach's dolphin-filled waters of beautiful Pinellas County. 221 Howard Drive, Bel Air Beach. Check it out. 18522 Gulf Boulevard, Indian Shores. This is another $1 million listing from the Platinum MVP team. This one is right on the beach. Your 3 bedrooms, 3 bath, 2,000 square feet, 18522 Gulf Boulevard, Unit F in Indian Shores. Have your own private 2-car parking area, upgrades throughout, granite countertops, beautiful property. You have multiple balconies. If you look out one balcony, you're looking at the Intercoastal Waterway with all the boats going by and the Tom Stewart Causeway there. You look out to the left, you're looking at the Sugar Sand Beaches and dolphin-filled waters of beautiful Pinellas County. You can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, quick shout out to our friends over at Discovery Golf Cars, longtime friends of the Consumer Quarterback Show, discoverygolfcars.com. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take them up on those special offers, discoverygolfcars.com. All right, we're going to invite you as well. Thursday, August 15th is our next edition of our Gratitude Party, third Thursday event, Thursday, August 15th, 6 o'clock, Tampa Bay Brewing Company. Alex, we're mixing it up to this month. We're going over to Tampa Bay Brewing Company. And over there, you've got we're going to be doing a private tour of the brewing facility, the state's #1 independent brewery, too. Pretty cool, man.
That is super cool. And, as per always, we're going to provide the appetizers for them. And with the private tour, your first drink is also on the Consumer Quarterback Show and the Tampa Bay Brewing Company.
That's right.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, networking, great opportunity. Come on out and meet our team, meet our expert contributors. We might even get Anthony Rickman there one day. Who knows?
Maybe.
Busy
Thursdays
man.
are tough. Baseball practice. Football,
baseball practice.
We're in the season again.
Yep.
So, but one of the things to talk about, your Thursday happy hour. People say, why do I need a defense attorney? Why do I need a criminal defense attorney? It's like having a doctor. A lot of people have doctors in your phones. A lot of people have insurance in your phones.
Right.
People need a criminal defense attorney in their phones.
Yep.
You're at a Thursday event like this, hypothetically,
Yep.
and you get stopped. You've only had 1 drink.
Yep.
That law enforcement officer smells the odor of alcohol come through your breath.
Yep.
Most likely, you're probably going to go to jail.
And that's probable cause just by the smell, right?
Probable cause. And what do? You need to get somebody immediately. And I've had so many cases where people have left happy hours, left events, and they call me from the road, hey, I just got pulled over.
Yeah.
You're my attorney. What do I do?
Right.
And it's something that people need to understand. A lot of times you don't want to wait to get arrested.
Right.
You want to wait for law enforcement to do an investigation and get an attorney.
Yeah.
You get a letter in the mail from the federal government. Hey, you're under investigation. You want to call an attorney right away. You get pulled over by law enforcement. You don't want to make any statements until you talk to a lawyer.
Wow.
It's important to have that lawyer, have me on your phone, right? So
yeah.
If something happens, you get pulled over, you get stopped. We can hopefully walk you through the process to avoid the arrest. But if you are arrested, act proactively to avoid you being formally charged.
Right.
And a lot of people just wait too long.
Yeah.
But it's important, obviously, to have somebody who you can count on, answer my phone all hours of the day, all hours of the night.
Yeah.
And it's important to have that ability to pick up that phone, get an attorney who's going to be there for you, who's going to help you through the process, and hopefully get a good result for you.
Yeah. God forbid you do get you do end up catching a case for this. Your case has already started because the moment that officer or deputy has put eyes on you, they've started documenting things.
Yep.
They're paying attention to how you're moving, what you're saying,
Yeah.
And so it will
recorded
all can and will be used against you.
And your listeners, I'll tell you probably 99.9% of them are trouble-free, never getting any issues
Right.
until you do, right? They're not out, robbing banks, things like that, but, you could be driving home one day and get in an accident. And the next thing you know, even if it's not your fault, you're getting charged DUI. Or in a worst case scenario, you're in an accident and somebody dies.
Right.
And you're looking at a DUI manslaughter. This whole week I've been doing depositions on a DUI manslaughter case, a real serious case where nobody intended for the result to happen.
Right.
And there's somebody who's dead. And it's important to have good representation to talk about and discuss all those issues in the case that can result in you getting a better outcome in your case ultimately.
Yeah.
On a DUI manslaughter, I tell my clients all the time, and I tell everybody, the difference between a DUI manslaughter and a simple DUI is the person with the DUI just got lucky and didn't kill anybody. And a DUI manslaughter, you're talking about a 4-year mandatory minimum sentence.
Wow.
And the bottom of the guidelines somewhere around 10 or 12.
Wow.
So you're looking at a 4 to 10 year range because you had a couple drinks at a happy hour and you got in a car and it was an accident.
Yep.
It was just a simple accident we see every day. But on a DUI manslaughter, you don't need to be driving recklessly. You don't need to be driving crazy to get charged with that. All you need to do is cause or contribute to the crash.
Yeah.
And as a result of that crash, somebody dies. And your life has changed forever. Looking at mandatory prison, the person who's dead, obviously their life is over. And that family of the deceased, their life has changed forever. So, it's important, especially on cases, like that, a DUI manslaughter, you have good representation. We dissect the vehicles, our team of experts. We go down, we look at the vehicles, we look at the toxicology. We look at all the issues to say why the cause of the crash wasn't our client, why the breath or blood wasn't results are accurate, and why our client potentially wasn't impaired at the time of driving, and fight the state in those cases. And we handle everything from that simple DUI, you get just leaving a bar, to unfortunately the worst case scenario, where someone leaves a restaurant establishment and somebody's killed as a result of them driving.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned earlier that you want them to save your number in the phone. What number should they save?
Hey, look, I give my cell phone out. It's 813-420-6706. I'm available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Say it again.
My cell is 813-420-6706. My office is 813-999-0502. Call us. You get a team of my attorneys. You get myself. One of us will pick up that phone. No matter what time of day, what time of night.
Great.
If you need something, you call us right away. And it's important to have that number programmed, because if something goes down, you're going to want us to be involved right. I can't tell you how many times I've been out to the scene of an alleged crime where I can walk that scene. And then when I'm trying that case or doing a depositions, I've lived it. I was there that night. Sometimes law enforcement doesn't get there until, the detectives until after I get there.
Yeah.
I've been on homicide scenes where we've argued self-defense. And I've been able to go through that scene either before or after with law enforcement to pick out certain things that we eventually use in defense.
Yeah.
Because I got involved early.
Right.
To talk to my client, advise them what to say if they're going to say anything, or not to say anything that we can later use it. So, you don't want to wait. When you get that knock on the door, the police officer doing an investigation, you get that knock on the door, that you're accused of a crime, you get that search warrant, call an attorney right away. You may not get arrested if they're doing a search warrant, but they're doing an investigation. Yeah. And people think, you got to wait the investigation end. No, that's the most important time, right? Because you want to stop that prosecution from happening.
Yeah, if you say the wrong thing, one thing, man, you're putting yourself on the line. We're talking with attorney Anthony Rickman, criminal defense attorney here in Tampa Bay. We've talked about a plethora of different topics over the years. I wanted to go to some of the national stuff. We'll come back to local. But Trump just had his documents case thrown out, the South Florida case.
Yeah, so everyone talked about that being the most damaging, the easiest to prove against Trump, right? Because at the end of the day, he's no longer the president. He has the documents. Now, there were defenses to be raised, whether or not he was entitled to have these documents after the fact, whether or not he gave back the other documents. But really, the court ruled, not necessarily on the facts of the case, on the merits, but they ruled on the conduct of the government. Yeah. Essentially, by the government appointing a special prosecutor without congressional authority, congressional approval, and then funding that prosecutor with our taxpayer dollars. Yep. Without going through the Appropriations Committee, without doing it the proper way. And ultimately, this court said that this prosecutor, through his own testimony, who says he was autonomous, he was working on his own, he may have been appointed by Merrick Garland, but he was doing everything on his own, allegedly. But that hurt him, because the court said if you're doing this on your own, then you are a special class of government officials that requires Senate confirmation. That requires Congress to come together and say, yes, we're authorizing you to do that. And the reason we have this in place for our country is the exact reason why this court said no. Right. Is because you don't want an administration going after political opponents. Exactly. You don't want an administration appointing a special prosecutor and Merrick Garland is an arm of the administration, Attorney General, appointing a special prosecutor to handle a particular case to go after a particular defendant. And with Donald Trump, that's what we've seen.
Let me ask you on this too, because I've heard some of the reasons why they went after these documents is that potentially it was incriminating documents against who, some of the other big names involved in the previous administration.
Yeah, and look, that's do you have those reasons?
The speculation.
The speculation, you have that, but look, at the end of the day, this is unprecedented. This prosecution in South Florida against Donald Trump was unprecedented.
Right.
Just like all the other ones against him.
Were so unprecedented.
And the narrative has been from Trump that this is not a prosecution, this is a persecution, that you are coming after him and you're weaponizing the legal system to come after a political opponent.
Yeah.
And that is why in these type of cases, when you have a political opponent, when you have a special prosecutor, that there has to be that oversight, there has to be that congressional approval.
Yep.
And here we don't have it, which some would say just proves exactly the point, that this is a hand-picked prosecutor to engage in this type of prosecution.
Yeah.
Now, Miami, the case in South Florida is done, but we still have the cases regarding the allegations for January 6th. Same prosecutor, different judge. Different set of circumstances of how the prosecutor was assigned to those particular cases.
Right.
Now, in D.C., I don't know if the judge is going to rule in the same manner in which the judge ruled in South Florida, Judge Cannon. It's unlikely, in my opinion, that the judge in the D.C. case is going to rule the same way as Judge Cannon's case. And we saw the government they're not accepting what the court said. The government indicated they're going to appeal Judge Cannon's ruling, and now we'll have an appeal on that case. Now, if Donald Trump is president of the United States in November, most likely he'll pardon himself and it'll be a non-issue.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, this could go through the appellate process, and ultimately, if he's not president, and whoever the president may be, could decide to re-engage the prosecution down the road.
Yeah, because we still really don't know who they're going to put up there, although they are pointing towards her.
And that's why I say who it may be, because the first person ever to be elected as a candidate without receiving one vote.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. The ones that talk about democracy all the time. Yeah, it's so yeah. If you just joined us, we're talking with attorney Anthony Rickman here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And Anthony wanted to talk about the differences between J6 and J13. A lot coming out about the assassination attempt and some of the letdowns and the oversights and the just misappropriation of assets and just potentially, to me, it's shaping out to be more of an inside job.
As a criminal defense attorney, I deal with investigations, law enforcement. I deal with the FBI. I deal with these type of investigations. And to see everything that happened around this case, it's horrible, right? You have the former president running for president of the United States, and they let somebody into the perimeter at 150 yards to take an easy shot at him. And they knew he was there. They didn't do anything to stop him. They didn't do anything to prevent him from being there, and they let him in. And when we see now the director of FBI, the former director of the Secret Service, because she's now resigned,
Cheadle or whatever,
are failing to take responsibility, failing to answer the questions. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy.
He's flying a drone too, I heard.
Flying
Did
a
you
drone.
hear that?
Yes, doing it. I mean, there was more security at a concert
Yeah.
than you had around Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, it is absolutely crazy to think this is the country that we live in. And then to see now the lack of transparency, the lack of the investigation, it's mind-boggling to think that this is actually happening. And now, everyone was unified. Hey, this is wrong, wrong, wrong. And now we see the policies, the partisanism in the congressional hearings, and people grandstanding about gun control. Look, at the end of the day, is someone tried to kill the president of the United States, the former president, and potentially our next president. And there needs to be answers and needs to be accountability. We see Donald Trump being prosecuted to the extent that he is, but where is the real scream for justice for what happened to him?
Yeah, exactly. I even see people posting these memes on their pages of the ear tape or the bandage on the ear, and it's satire. It's funny. What is funny about that?
There's nothing funny about it.
It's disgusting.
Yeah,
when people say that. All right, Anthony, let's take a quick break there. We're going to come back and talk more. I want to get a little bit back in local here, talk about some of the fentanyl, the open border, also private investigators, how they play into the criminal defense process as well, coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Also, feel-good story of the day. United Airline worker resolves how to turn thousands of expired life jackets into backpacks and bags, so kind of repurposing those expired life jackets. Feel good story of the day coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 727-263-3707.
online at consumerqb.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rimes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
Lindsay Rimes here with Archer Place in Gainesville, Florida. Our luxury condo community is located only 1.5 miles from the University of Florida, 5 minutes to Shands Medical and Butler Plaza. Our buyers love the high-end luxury amenities in their building, including a state-of-the-art fitness facility equipped with Pelotons, the resort-style temperature-controlled pool accompanied with cabanas and grills, and the gourmet chef's kitchen in our clubhouse that overlooks the pool. We have pre-construction pricing only for a limited time, with floor plans ranging from a 1-bedroom, 1-bath to 2-floor penthouses with plunge pools. Starting in the low 400,000s to the high 900s, investors, parents sending their young adults off to school, medical professionals, business owners, and entrepreneurs alike are investing in these residences. Reach out to us today at 727-263-3707 to get more information.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
And we're back in studio. Criminal defense attorney Anthony Rickman in studio with us here, the Rickman Law Firm, online, therickmanlawfirm.com, and longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're talking consumer advocacy about your potential for criminal, defense. When you need it, you need it, and you want to save his number in your phone. Also, save our show hotline if you might need introductions to 80 different categories, over 35 different show partners, 727-263-3707. You can call or text. That's an off-air number, 727-263-3707. Call or text that line. Save it in your phone. As you say, you may need it at some point. All right, a couple of hot listings, and we're going to jump into more of this great content conversation. 3615 C. Robin is another one of our hot listings. We've got over 100 listings with the Platinum MVP team. Keller Williams Realty, of course, our Gainesville property as well, 90 pre-construction luxury units there. 3615 C. Robin Drive, Southeast St. Petersburg, beautifully remodeled. I love the color scheme here. You got the lighter colors, beautiful look, backsplash in the kitchen, looks great. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 square feet, remodeled single-family home right here in Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg, Pinellas County, stainless steel appliances, breakfast bar, tiled backsplash. 3615 and C. Robin Drive, Southeast, and that's in St. Petersburg. Great opportunity. 10 minutes from the beaches, 10 minutes from downtown. Great opportunity here in beautiful Tampa Bay. All right, 1950 58th Ave North, unit number 8. This is an affordable opportunity here. Ground floor unit, 55-plus community, 2-bedroom, 2-bath. You have 1 carport. It's covered parking, plus a bonus room, 815-square-foot condo, ground floor unit. You have a living room, dining room combo, stainless steel appliances, lots of updates, lots of money recently spent on this unit. Check out 1950 58th Avenue North, unit number 8, and you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, Anthony Rickman back here in studio. So we talked a little national stuff. Let's bring it local. What's going on locally? What are you seeing?
Look, locally we see a lot of, when we talk about fentanyl cases, we see a lot of DUIs, a lot more, there's a lot of violent crime going on. And one of the things is white-collar crime. And, and we see the expansion of the federal government, expansion of prosecutions. And you talk about your listeners, and people listen to the show, and you have businesses. They audit your business. The government thinks that maybe you're taking money you shouldn't, or there's some sort of irregularity. You're looking at potentially being prosecuted. And we talk about, you mentioned investigators. We have different types of investigators that my firm uses. We have those investigators who come out to the crime scenes with me. there's a homicide, a DUI manslaughter, a battery, shooting, something like that. We're going out and we're looking at the scene, we're inspecting the scene, we're surveying the witnesses to see what they may have seen, to see what law enforcement missed, looking at surveillance. Then there's a second type of investigator, and those are the financial investigators. We have auditors. We have people who worked either for the IRS, worked for the federal government, certain tax divisions. And let's say it's a white-collar case. It's important also for us to get your bank records, to go through those records, to do a check and balance to see if the investigation the government's conducting on you is valid, to see if there's things that they missed, to a lot of times explain to the government why they're wrong on their theory of prosecution. So a lot of times it's important for us to get involved on financial cases very early as well, to start building that, to create documents, to go to the government and say, hey, you may think my client's involved in X, Y, and Z, but here's the evidence to show you why it didn't happen that way.
Yeah, it's interesting too. And you think about this open border. We've talked about that over, ad nauseum over the last year and a half, couple of years. When you think about, people don't realize that there is crime. There's immigrants coming in, illegal immigrants, and it is here in Tampa Bay. We're seeing some of this crime. Can you kind of open our eyes a little bit to that?
Yeah. So part of my representation, I represent victims of crimes as well. So there's the first prong is representing my people accused of a crime. But then the second thing I do is I also represent victims, and I've had cases where my clients have been victimized by people who shouldn't be here. Whether they are the victims of a crash, of a traffic crash that results in injury or death, whether or not they're victims of a forcible felony or a violent crime, or whether or not they're victims of a drug offense. And I say victims of a drug offense is that I've been talking to a lot of detectives. I get to know a lot of detectives, and what we're learning is that there is fentanyl in almost everything that they see now. People might think, hey, we're doing cocaine, hey, we're doing even marijuana. And law enforcement is finding fentanyl in drugs that people don't want to take in regular drugs. Not justifying you taking those, but at the end of the day, if people are thinking they're taking X and they're getting Y and Z, and that Y and Z can kill them.
Yeah.
And for people who you're out with your friend, or you give somebody something, and there's fentanyl in it, and you may not know it, you can get charged with homicide.
Right.
For handing a drug to somebody.
Yeah.
If you're a consumer, you're taking those drugs, and you're consuming drugs, even though you shouldn't. And there's fentanyl in it. You can die by taking something you think is, marijuana these days.
Yeah.
So people need to be careful, and if that's the case, either you're charged or the victim. My law firm represents victims as well. We represent people who've been involved in injunctions or domestic violence, and they want to file a restraining order against somebody.
Yeah. Or
people who've been wrongfully served with a restraining order. Where they want to fight the fact that if you have a restraining order against you, you can't possess a firearm. You can lose your job, you can lose your career. So there's a lot of restrictions on you if you have a restraining order. So I'm seeing a lot of those type of cases recently. Over the summer, a lot more DUIs. But the other thing we always talk about it is shooting cases where people think that they are defending themselves, acting in self-defense, whether it be using that firearm or brandishing that firearm in self-defense. I see a lot of those cases recently as well.
Wow, yeah. And you should never brandish it unless you're going to use it, right?
No, you never brandish it unless you're going to use it, and never brandish it unless you have to.
Right.
And really, when we talk about that, it's in your state of mind. If you go out looking for trouble,
right,
and then you show your gun, it's not self-defense.
Right.
If the guy's turning his back and walking away, you're going to have a problem saying it's self-defense versus retaliation.
Yep.
But if you are reasonably in fear, if you fear that person's going to attack you, whether it's a vicious attack or a forcible felony, then you have the right to meet force of force, including deadly force, if you believe that force is necessary to prevent your death or serious bodily injury.
Stand your ground.
That's it.
That's right.
Yep.
Anthony Rickman, check him out online, therickmanlawfirm.com, therickmanlawfirm.com. Anthony, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. All right, we are going to take a quick break and come back, and we're going to talk with Alex Ritchie, Mold Solutions. We're going to talk about homeowner situations, consumer advocacy around that. Also, Representative Berny Jacques coming on later in the program. Berny Jacques, state rep, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Follow us online. We'd love to connect with you at Brandon Rimes, one at CQB Show. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, and our Rumble channel, Consumer Quarterback Show, online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rimes here. We're going to have Representative Berny Jacques with us here in just a moment. We're going to talk with Berny Jacques as well as Alex Ritchie coming up, Mold Solutions, here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Before we do, quick listing here. We'll let you know about a hot listing, 10413 Main Street. in Thonotosassa. This is a great opportunity to buy land, buy some dirt, and invest in Tampa Bay, and maybe build a commercial. This is a commercial property style, so the opportunities are endless there. 3.63 acres of vacant land on Main Street, Thonotosassa. Zoning is PD. It's a commercial property. You're all across the street from a busy gas station, and you're just a stone's throw away from the vibrant pulse of Tampa. Easy access to major highways and thoroughfares as well. 10413 Main Street, Thonotosassa. All right, we got a property on Croft. This one's on Croft in St. Petersburg. Now, what this is another 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1-car garage, 1,066 square feet, and you're minutes from the beautiful Indian Rocks Beach, upgraded luxury vinyl flooring throughout, naturally lit with living room with beautiful natural lighting coming through, sliders to a screened-in patio, backyard, fenced in as well, stainless steel appliances, white cabinet, spacious island, well done on the remodel here. 13651 Croft Drive, North Largo. You can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, Representative Berny Jacques, longtime friend of the program. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, my pleasure. So, yeah, give us a little update. What are you seeing? I'd love to follow you on social. You're out and about. You're running around the state, and you were also at the convention last week as well. Probably pretty exciting connections there, and really exciting to see that as well.
Yeah, very exciting. It was great to be in Milwaukee with the party faithful to see Donald J. Trump accept the nomination for our Republican contender against this Biden regime. And the crowd was very excited. The crowd was unified, and the crowd was ready to take the fight in order to make sure that President Trump is the 47th president of the United States. So it was a great time for sure.
The energy was palpable. What was the best moment? There's so many good moments, but when Hulk Hogan started going nuts and ripping off his shirt, that had to be pretty neat.
It really was. It really was. It was amazing. That night was just, star after star. Compelling speaker after compelling speaker. Tucker Carlson gave a great speech without any notes. You had the Hulkster get up there, who, by the way, is a Pinellas County resident, attends church in my district. Just a little plug. So that was pretty neat to see him there on the stage. You had Dana White from the UFC. It was just an amazing night. And of course, when Donald Trump took the stage, he started by recounting what occurred during that attempted assassination. It was quite a moment in that room to hear him describe it. And it reminds us to really thank God. And, he gave God the glory as well. And this could have definitely been a different situation. It could have been a week of mourning, right? Yeah. If the Lord did not provide that protection, that hedge of protection, a split second, a split turn of the head.
That's right.
And we would have had a different situation.
Yeah, amen. Said that right, man. And it's stacking up. I'm watching some of these on TV there, and you're watching and you're hearing some of the questioning and the answers. It's stacking up more and more to see somewhat like an inside job or something, Bernie.
Something's up. Look, you had the head of the Secret Service, dragged into Congress, providing really no answers, none whatsoever. And it raises the suspicions of Americans of all stripes. And if you saw the hearings, it was also Democrats, going in on her.
Yep.
And so it's completely inexcusable. The excuses that she's given, they don't add up. They don't pass the smell test about a sloped roof and this or that or the other. Just a terrible situation. And then we learned that there was an assassination threat, coming out of Iran that they disclosed through the security briefings, and yet they were denying Trump extra Secret Service agents.
Right.
The Trump campaign has been asking for additional assets, and it's been denied over and over again. So what the heck is going on? Her resigning is not the end of it. I hope they don't let up. She needs to be fully investigated.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything needs to be investigated. All right, let's shift gears. And I actually did like DeSantis, his quote too, something about weekend at Bernie's or something as well. But I wanted to talk about Florida and also Tampa Bay. What's new in our neck of the woods?
So we're in an election cycle. We got a lot of great candidates running in our area. So, as you know, I serve in the Florida House, but one of the things that I try to do is support a good candidate at the local level to help me with the work I'm doing in Tallahassee, because one of the things that can frustrate the great things we're doing in Tallahassee to keep Florida free is out of control local governments or out of control radical school boards who are hell-bent on indoctrinating the kids. And so we want to make sure that we have great people on board. I was proud to see the governor endorse 3 of the candidates that I've endorsed in Pinellas County. They are Danielle Merrill, we got Stacey Geyer, Erica Picard. These are great candidates that will bring back sanity and give backup to our 2 great conservatives there already on the school board fighting to make sure that our kids are being educated and not indoctrinated. So that's something that's going on at the local front. And we're getting ready for the legislative session to bring up some bills. That's not going to be until next year, but it's never too early to start and engaging with my constituents to see what's on their minds. And, of course, we have our own campaign as well. So we've been pounding the pavement, as I'm sure you've seen.
Yeah, one of the hardest working men out there, I can tell you, in politics for sure. So give us those names, because if people have your ballots around. You want to make a note. This is who Representative Berny Jacques recommends. So did you say Merrill, Geyer,
Merrill?
Yeah,
yep. Danielle Merrill, Stacey Geyer, and Erica Picard. So you got Erica Picard. She's North Pinellas, that Dunedin, Palm Harbor area. Danielle, she's running countywide, so she's going to be on everybody's ballot, and that's a very important race. So that will probably be decided in August in the primary, because there's only 2 candidates. And then you have Stacey Geyer, which is mid-Pinellas, Largo area, 3 strong conservatives that will certainly do right by us, restore parental rights, and push back against the indoctrination.
Nice. Okay, good stuff. We're talking with Representative State Rep Berny Jacques on the Consumer Quarterback Show, longtime friend of the program. And Bernie, what do you see? Because one of the things I get with our real estate business a lot is the challenges still with insurance. It does seem to be, or I'm hearing that it may be getting better. What are you seeing on the front line?
Yeah, we're finally seeing signs of that. And you have several companies that have actually put in for a rate decrease. We haven't seen that in quite some time. You're starting to see some stabilization. You're starting to see new companies coming into the state to write policies. By my last count, I think it was around 7 or 9 new companies who are trying to write policies, which was the intended result of the reforms that we passed at that special session in December of 2022, where we wanted to make a market that can thrive again, where companies are competing for your business. And when companies are competing for your business, they're going to be competitive on pricing and offer you better prices than the competitor. And that's what we want to get back to. So we're seeing some signs of that. We're not out of the woods yet. I always like to emphasize is that the fact of the matter is we did not get into the mess overnight. We're not going to get out of it overnight. But I'm very encouraged to see some of the signs, some of the silver lining. And look, we're not going to let up, right? As I mentioned, legislative session starts next year. If we're not really seeing the movement that we'd like to see in order to bring down rates so people can actually afford to be Floridians, then we are prepared to take additional action.
Yeah. And what is on your mind as far as this next session coming up?
So one thing that's on my mind, and I actually just got out of a panel on this particular issue, is making sure that our elections are secure and that non-citizens are not voting in our elections. Yes. And so I'm actually coming to you from Denver, Colorado, where I'm in a conference with fellow legislators from all across the country, different state legislators, and we're workshopping. We're putting our heads together, seeing what other states are doing in order to make sure to stand up for conservative principles. So one of the things that we're looking at is securing our elections. Now, Florida, compared to a lot of these other states, has done a lot, right, especially under the leadership of Governor DeSantis. But it's no excuse to rest on our laurels. We've got to continue to be proactive and close any little loophole that there is to make sure that our vote remains sacred. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know you got a heart out and you got the next meeting to get to. Berny Jacques, thanks for calling into the show, updating us. And last word, back to you, Bernie. Yeah, absolutely. Always appreciate you having me on. If anybody would like more information, visit my website. It's Berny4Florida.com. That's Berny4Florida.com. There you can sign up for our e-newsletter and keep up to date with what we're doing. And as I always like to remind people, it's Bernie with a Y, not I-E, like the socialist Bernie. And so sign up, and together we'll keep Florida free.
That's right. All right. Good stuff, man. Thanks so much. Appreciate you.
You got it.
Have a great day. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with Alex Ritchie in studio here. Mold Solutions. We're going to give you some consumer advocate tips, things to do, things to avoid, what to look out for from Mold Solutions coming up here. Plus, our feel-good story of the day. You have United Airline worker resolves how to turn thousands of expired life jackets into backpacks and bags. Feel-good story of the day coming up. Consumer Quarterback Show. ConsumerQB.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here. Alex Ritchie in studio with us. Mold Solutions. We're going to talk about some consumer advocacy there. Of course, with the uptick in rain activity, what is that doing to the potential for mold in your home? Coming up, Feel Good Story of the Day. Before we do, a couple of hot listings here. We'd like to feature our real estate properties live on air. We got some vacant land on Rustling Wind. This is a great opportunity to buy and build, buy some dirt, build here on 0 Rustling Wind Road, Brooksville, 4.5-acre parcel of land. You got no HOA and no CDD. You're located just a stone's throw away from a myriad of modern amenities, short drive to modern dining options, shopping, entertainment, medical centers, and more. Close to the Suncoast Parkway in Brooksville. So buy some dirt and build. Live that American dream. 5198 40th Street South. Here is another single-family home opportunity, 3 bedrooms, 2-bath, 2-car garage, 3,000-plus square foot home, and beautifully renovated interiors, screened-in back patio, spacious living room, open floor plan, and you're located in the heart of Maximo Moorings. You're very close to the Tiki Dock Skyway Bar as well, close to the Gulf Beaches in downtown St. Pete, and easy access to I-275 and Eckerd College. 5198 40th Street South, St. Petersburg. And if you'd like to have your property featured live on air, we'd love to talk to you. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Try that in a small town. See how far you make it there.
All right, quick shout out to our friends at Replenish IV Solutions. I just went down there this morning and got juiced up. I got the vitamin infusion drip, something like the Myers cocktail directly into my bloodstream, boosting my immunity, getting those B's and C vitamins into my body. ReplenishIVSolutions.com. They have a Gandy location, Carrollwood location, and they can come to you. They will visit you at home or your office, and the nurse will come over and hook you up with the vitamin infusion drip. ReplenishIVSolutions.com. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you.
Tell me something good.
All right, we got a feel-good story of the day. United Airlines partnered with the German company B2L to upcycle 900 pounds of expired life jackets into trendy bags, including laundry, laptop, and beach bags, as well as backpacks. This initiative, led by Aaron Taylor, United's Environmental Affairs Manager, was aimed at reducing landfill waste and the carbon footprint. Normally, life jackets need replacing every 8 to 10 years, resulting in over 19,000 expired jackets annually just from United's Boeing 737 fleet. B2L's first year of transforming jackets was successful, leading to a contract renewal and doubling the volume of upcycled jackets for the second year. The bags will, while creatively repurposed, are priced steeply, with some items costing over $100. So there you have it. Feel good story of the day. All right, Alex, welcome back in studio. Alex Ritchie, Mold Solutions. What are you seeing out there, my friend?
Well, what we're seeing right now is a lot of rain. Lots of things are getting wet, and to take everybody back to their high school days in biology class, where there is water, there is life.
Yeah, that's right.
And some of that life isn't so great inside your house.
No.
I mean, honestly, even in a couple of jobs that I personally even went out and inspected my guys with, you know, homeowners taking a look at everything and they go, oh, yeah, it's looking pretty nice, but we're getting a little bit of spotting on our ceilings. And at first it just kind of looks like, you know, brownish little water stain and so forth. And, well, okay, well, let's take a look. Put a little scope up into the wall, and on the inside it's black as night and looking real bad, growing all over the place and so forth, and then all of a sudden we're tearing out half a wall.
Wow.
You know, so it's definitely one thing to make sure that, you know, your shingles or your roof is intact and so forth. because that's really keeping that outside element outside where it belongs and not inside your house. Because as soon as you get that actually encroaching and having a water event inside the house, then you're talking about not only structural damage, the mold sets in, and then that can become a health hazard at that point.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the worst things you can do is leave a home vacant and turn the air conditioning off.
Yes.
A lot of people still don't realize that.
A lot of people still don't realize that. Actually, within just this last week, I had 3 different people call me out. They were actually calling me from, I think one was from Michigan, one was from Wisconsin, saying, hey, my regular cleaning lady came in to check on everything. I haven't been there in a couple of months. I haven't been running my AC, or I've only been having the fan on and not the actual air conditioner. Because what some people don't realize is your air conditioner, when it actually goes into the cooling mode, that cools those coils down, and that will actually slightly dehumidify the air that's inside the house. Because you got hot, moist air hitting those cold coils, condensing, and then that liquid will actually flush out of the house. So if you're not doing that, and you have a high humidity inside, walked into one place, I had to immediately run back outside, grab my respirator, throw it on. And we're not just talking about a little N95 mask. I'm talking like a big old thing with, breathing apparatus.
Yeah.
Go back inside, because just in that small period of time, I ended up getting with a whole day-long headache and so forth, because the ceiling was covered black, the walls were green, every single item of clothing had stuff on it.
Wow.
Expensive leather jackets, purses, and so forth, garbage, and it can be a very simple fix if you catch it before that happens.
Right.
But once that happens, you're talking about, tens of thousands of dollars worth of your stuff that is going to go into a landfill, because you're not going to be getting it back, plus the sentimental value of a lot of stuff that you don't want to throw out, but it's now basically trash.
Wow. If you just joined us, folks, we're talking with Alex Ritchie. He's the CEO and owner of Mold Solutions, longtime friend of the program, online at moldsolutions.com, moldsolutions.com. And, yeah, what a tragedy when you see that happen. I mean, you got so much money going into the basically rehab of the property at that point.
Yes. And, honestly, water can get in so many different ways, whether that's because of our storms down here. I mean, we've all seen how frequently, it's about 3:30, there should be a good old thunderstorm rolling through any time now. Or even just, a slow leak underneath the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
Literally as we speak, my guys are out actually, they saw a little bit of black underneath the thing. Okay, cool. Yeah, just take off that bottom board. And it's no big thing. And this is actually somebody who wants to sell their home. And they're like, well, I can't sell a moldy house now, can I? So let's actually take care of it. So it's like, okay, cool. Let's take off this one little bottom piece underneath the kitchen sink. The entire kitchen peninsula, that whole thing is going to go, because the mold just grew and grew sideways, and the entire, from behind the dishwasher, the sink, all of the cupboards, trashed.
Wow.
And I'm sure that person, if they were actually living in there, probably wasn't exactly having the greatest time, probably having some bad histamine reactions and so forth. But good for them for actually taking care of it before transferring that house to somebody else.
Right. Yeah, doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's a big deal if you get caught, basically trying to conceal those types of things. There's seller disclosures that you have to fill out and sign, especially if it's an owner-occupied home. And if you try to cover that up or you get caught, I mean, there's situations where people try to cover up sinkholes. I remember hearing about a case up in Pasco County. I think it was, the guy actually went to jail because he covered it up, tried to hide it. So you got to have those out in the open.
Yep.
Now, Alex, also talk about you've had scenarios where homeowners have been kind of phantom. There's this phantom going around. What's going on? They're sick. They're sick, but then it comes out to be mold behind the baseboards because you can't see it a lot of times, right?
Yep. So mold is definitely our invisible enemy, because it is, in its spore form, it is unperceivable by the human eye. And, you can fit 7 spores on the tip of a human hair. But, people are having chronic fatigue, thyroid issues, headaches, migraines, joint issues, all of those things are actually histamine reactions that are being caused when the body is being bombarded with mycotoxins. And a mycotoxin is coming from a fungi, which mold happens to be in the fungi kingdom. And it's basically mold's way of attacking other mold and saying, get out of my space, this is my house. It doesn't tell a difference. It doesn't have eyeballs, so it can't tell the difference between you and me and another mold. And specifically Aspergillus, which happens to be quite common in people's air handlers, so the air that you're breathing, if there's, too much moisture in there, it's not, being handled or cleaned on a regular basis. You could be breathing that on a regular basis and be like, I just always have a headache and it's just been like that for years and years, or I'm just getting old and that's why I'm having all these stiff joints and so forth. And I've had people, when a lot of them end up seeing their doctors, getting detoxed and so forth, but once they actually handle the problem in their home, boom, everything clears up and they're like, that I just realized I've had a headache for years. I didn't even realize that I had it so long.
That I didn't need to have.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you want people to connect with you? I see you got the website moldsolutions.com.
Yes, that is definitely the best way. Also, if you reach out to us through moldsolutions.com, 727-276-4787. That's also a great way to reach out to us.
Okay, awesome. Good stuff. Thanks for coming in. Alex Ritchie, Mold Solutions, moldsolutions.com. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, another great show. We had criminal defense attorney Anthony Rickman, Representative Berny Jacques on the show, and we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.